Hello there. Today we're talking Dinky. Yes, that's right. We're talking Dinky. So these are some Dinky toys that have been generously donated to my collection by my father. So these are my father's original toys from the 1950s, all his army toys. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take them out of the collection and go through them one by one and see exactly what we've got. Okay, so I'm going to begin with some of the trucks. Now, as I say, these were all my father's toys from back in the 1950s, I believe he would have got these. And yeah, I'm very privileged to have them now. I do remember when I was a kid, I was allowed to play with them sometimes, but very carefully. As you can see, also got some of the boxes, which is really cool. We'll have a closer look at those in a moment. But first, gonna have a quick look at each truck individually. So I'm going to start here with this one. Now, I'm not sure if this really is one of my father's original toys or whether he bought it on the second-hand market, because I don't have a box for it. Normally my father would have kept all the boxes, unless it kind of got lost in time. I don't know. So yeah, it's a pretty basic toy, I guess, but it's very well detailed, and it's the great thing about these Dinky toys is they're actually quite heavy. So yeah, they don't make toys like this anymore. Don't make them like they used to. Have a spare wheel there, sort of tucked in. It's a little bit loose. It does fall out if you turn it upside down, as I found out. Yeah, I believe this is based on a Bedford from the Second World War. Very cool stuff. Then we have this one, which is the 3-ton army wagon. Have a take a look underneath. There we go, 3-ton army wagon with its spare wheel underneath. That one doesn't come off, luckily. And this one actually has a little man, a little soldier driving it. And this, I believe, is based on a Humber in the late 1940s. And now we have the ambulance, which is called the military ambulance underneath. I believe it's based on a Fordson. And again, we have a little guy in there driving it. It looks a little bit like Monty, but I don't think Monty ever drove an ambulance. Got a little bit of damage on it, unfortunately. But other than that, these are in pretty good condition considering they were childhood toys. I guess my father was very careful with his toys when he played with them. The back doors do open also. You have these really, it's a very basic thing, but it's just like a little catch. You have to lift it up to open it. It's such a basic thing, but it really works. It stops the doors from falling open. And now we have the 10-ton truck. Get into the big guns. Again, underneath Dinky Toys, 10-ton army truck, made in England. And this, I believe, would have been a Forden truck from around 1948. They made these. With all these trucks, you can take the top off, the back off. You can see inside. Now, in these little holes, you could fit little soldiers. And I do have some of the little soldiers. We'll look at those in a minute. But unfortunately, they don't like to sit in place. They have one tiny little die-cast metal pin to hold them in place, and they tend to fall out quite a bit. Again, it's in really good condition. It's got some paint damage along the side here, but for a toy that is maybe almost 70 years old, It's in really good condition, I think. Now, to have a quick look at some of the boxes. So there's two types of boxes. We have sort of the yellow type here. Now, I'm sure this ages the toy, I guess, because you have the yellow type, the same as this ambulance one, and the three-ton army wagon. Actually, this one's a little bit damaged. And then you have the blue and white stripy boxes, like this one. Now, I don't know, as I say, if there was a time where everything was one of these boxes, or whether this box was only used for the bigger toys, because it's much more sturdy than these yellow boxes. Let me know in the comments. You see, it's just a box. Very basic, but look at that artwork. Isn't that fantastic? Again, let me know down in the comments what you think about the boxes. Right, okay. Let's have a look at the next batch. Okay, here we have some of the smaller vehicles. Also with the boxes, you can see they're in the background. Let's have a quick look at those first. So we have here the Scout car. It's really, really fantastic to have some of these boxes. The artwork on them is amazing. They're a little bit damaged, but yeah, not massively damaged. Here for the armoured personnel carrier. This one's got sticky tape, sellotape on it from the 1950s. And the 1-ton cargo truck. Again, a little bit damaged, but they just look fantastic on display. So here we have the little Scout car, a little guy in there driving it, and also space for another guy. In really good condition. Really good condition, and heavy too. They actually, back in the 50s, they really produced things. I mean, this thing is super heavy, and considering it's almost 70 years old, the gun turns perfectly. It's not stiff, it's not too loose. See? It doesn't move. It's, yeah, amazing condition. And the 1-ton cargo truck. Now this one, if I take the top off, you can see I actually have a couple of the extra little figures inside. So if we take one out, you can see it's just a little figure. It's got a little peg in his bum that stops him from wobbling around too much, but they are quite loose. I think I'm going to have to touch them up a little bit of paint on their heads, because obviously where they're loose, they've fallen around, bumped their heads, the poor little guys. Oh, that's really nice. Again, fantastic condition. And then we come to the Jeep. There's a little Austin Champ. I filled it up with more of the loose little guys, so I'm not going to turn it upside down. But this one's in the worst condition. Now, at first I thought maybe my father had bought it second hand. I don't have a box for it, but I didn't, and someone's painted the inside, but I noticed the paint is the same color as the paint here underneath some of these vehicles. There you see. Now I think my father used to paint, or my grandfather did some painting just to so that my father's toys could be recognizable as his toys, but unfortunately I think he went a bit overboard on this one. So as this one's in actually the worst condition, I'm going to guess that this is the oldest, and this was one of the first toys that my father had. So it's pretty cool that I can now have it in my collection. This one has rubber tires. Some of these old Dinky toys, the rubber tires have all dried out over time. I mean, come on, 70 years old. And as you see here, the spare tire is completely perished and fallen off. So but even though this is in the worst condition of all of them, it's fantastic to have such a thing in my collection now. And here we have the last of the small things. So this is a little armored car. Again, the gun moves relatively easy, and it still stays fast. If I shake it, see, it's not going to move. It's amazing the way they used to make these things. Obviously, they can't do that now because it would be too expensive. I mean, these things, you could kill someone with them if you threw that. And yeah, this one's got some more paint damage on the sides. I don't have a box for this one either, unfortunately. And here, little 25-pounder. Does look like you could load it and shoot it, but I don't have any of the missiles or shells for it. But it's very much like a Britain's 25-pounder. And speaking of which, here is my Britain's 25-pounder. So if we make a quick comparison, you can actually see the Britain's is a slightly different color. Let's bring the light on it a bit better there. Sorry about all the glare. And obviously, I think the Britain's is, yeah, it's a different scale. But the Dinky toy is the correct olive drab color, I believe. But the same sort of mechanism, just a spring-loaded clip that would fire the projectiles. So that's that comparison done. Let's put that away. And then here we have a little ammo box. I guess you could put your shells in and tow along. Now the great thing I have noticed about these is you can link them up. Move that one back there. And they sort of tow along each other. Let's see if I can find a truck also with a tow bar and see if it actually, yeah, there we go. See, so you can make a convoy of all the bits. Oh yeah, don't push it backwards, they all fall off. There you go. Life lessons. Now the gun's a little bit out of balance. Now that does answer another question, because I did find, when I got it on the back here, was some very old blue tack. So I'm guessing it was either blue tack to stick it to this, or it was blue tack to put some weight on it so that it would stay in place. So there you go. We've solved a mystery whilst demonstrating a toy. Isn't that fantastic? Tune in next week as we find out who Jack the Ripper was. Okay, confession time. I said that the last lot was the last of the small bits, and now we have some more small bits. That's going to be these lovely little planes. Now, I do remember playing with these as a kid. My father was always a bit cautious letting me play with them, but I believe I respected them when I played with them. Again, we have some boxes, which is pretty cool. We have the submarine Swift, the Hawker Hunter, and a Gloucester Javelin. Fortunately, this box is probably the worst of the bunch, this box for damage. I have done a little bit of a repair job on it, but yeah, I was scared that I was going to damage it more by trying to repair it. But yeah, I'm not going to open the flaps to show what I did. I've basically put some parcel tape on the inside, some cardboard tape, I don't know, some special tape on the inside to stick it all back together again. Okay, so now here we have that Gloucester Javelin. Again, it's in fantastic condition. I would question whether my father actually played with these. It does look like it's got just a tiny little bit of damage there, and maybe a tiny little bit on the nose. And the Hunter, again, a little bit of damage on the stickers there, and a little bit of paint damage on the cockpit. Oh, and he's given it a blob of white paint this time. Don't drop it. Don't drop it. And the Swift. Now this one has got some wing damage, unfortunately. But now I'm looking at it, it might not be fully damaged. It might just be paint spill, because he's put white paint underneath. Did he put white paint underneath this one? Yeah. And then this could also be paint spill. I'm not sure. I do need to see if I can clean them up a little bit, but I want to be very careful with the stickers. Now, these are pretty basic little planes, but then from my own childhood, I have this Red Arrow from Matchbox, which basically is just the same principle. It's just a model plane on wheels, slightly bigger than the Dinky toys, but yeah. So there's no my thoughts of these being too small to play with is really nonsense, because I used to play with this. I also have a Spitfire. Now, I think this is Matchbox, but there's absolutely no information on it. So now I'm doubting myself. So I have no idea how I got this. Again, this is from my own childhood. So if anyone out there has any ideas where this Spitfire came from, who made it, please leave a comment down below and let us all know. And now, last but not least, we have the crowning glory of the collection, which is this tank transporter with a Centurion tank. Again, with the boxes, which is wonderful stuff. As I've said before, I really, really love these boxes. I love this artwork. Unfortunately, this box is a little bit damaged here, and again stuck together with some very ancient tape. Again, it's just a box, so I'm not sure why I bothered opening that. And there you go. Pretty cool stuff. And then for the tank transporter, I mean, this thing is mighty. Fortunately, it's got a blob of paint on it there. Other than that, this one's in really good condition. It's just a little bit too big to fit in frame. Let's open it up. It's an empty box, but it does have the inserts. It's really cool. Now, my father had these things all in their boxes in a drawer in his attic. So I managed to convince him that it was better that I look after them and put them in my collection on a display where people can look at them. And when I mean people, I mean me. And obviously I'm sharing them with you guys. Yeah, so let's have a look. First we're going to look at the transporter. And it's a beast of a machine. Strangely enough, it's got a paint chip here, and I'm not sure how that's occurred. But other than that, it's almost in mint condition, apart from the green blob underneath that was on all my father's toys. It does have loading ramps that you can put down so you can drive your tank on, and then they just clip up. Again, really basic mechanism. So it's engineering at such a basic level that they should do more of it these days. And I believe that this lorry is based on a Thornycroft Antar. It actually says Antar on the front there. Bring that. You see? Antar. Really cool. And then the Chieftain tank. Centurion tank. Again, it moves just so easy. And it's not loose at all. Even though it has a bit of movement in it, it will stay still. It won't move. But then when you want it to move, it just glides. It's just I'm almost speechless at how these things remain in such great condition after so many years. Doesn't it? Everything's a little bit dusty. Everything's going to need a little bit of a clean up. So I will, at some stage, get around to giving everything a bit of love and attention. It just sits on the transporter like that. Fantastic. Now, I do have a second tank. This one my father bought at a toy fair. And I'm not sure why he bought it, because this one is not in the same condition as his one. Here you can see it's been damaged on the barrel, and the barrel is not actually straight anymore. It's got a big bend in it, and there's some more paint damage on it. I suppose really for its age it's not too bad, but yeah, I think I might see if I can at least paint up this barrel. It looks like it's got bent, and maybe someone's tried to put it back into position and just cracked all the paint off. So if anyone knows how you can straighten die-cast metal without snapping it, please let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll give it a go. I guess you have to heat it up, but you'd have to heat it up quite a lot, and that would obviously damage the paint more. Or maybe I'll just leave it. I mean, it's not so bent, is it? Anyway, let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. And with that, we come to the end of the Dinky collection. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. It's a small thing to do, but it does help the channel. You could also share the video with fellow Dinky enthusiasts. And if you're new to the channel, why not check out some of my other videos? I have some Britons, toy soldiers and toy knights, yeah, and other retro toys. And why not subscribe? Go on, you know you want to. I want to also give a big thanks to my father for letting me have this in my display. If you agree that it makes a very good display, make sure you hit that like button. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Did you have any Dinky when you were younger? Do you have any Dinky now? What do you think of this army collection of Dinky toys that I've acquired? Now, okay, thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one.